If you look at the newspaper of today, there is a report on violence in Nagpur. There has been stone pelting, there has been arson, and the society was divided on communal lines, and central forces and state forces have been deployed. The district administration has been put on high alert, and all the characteristics of a classical riot, communal riot, are visible in the district of Nagpur. And at the center of this communal violence and conflict is the tomb of Aurangzeb, who in fact was buried in 1707, nearly 300 years ago, at a place called Kundabad, in an unmarked and unceremonial grave. He was buried in the year 1707 after nearly 50 years of administration over India. And the last 2 decades of Aurangzeb's reign, he spent in the region of Deccan, with Aurangabad as his capital. And in Aurangabad, he in fact spent the last 2 decades of his life chasing the Marathas. First, unsuccessfully, he chased Shivaji Maharaj. Then, after the death of Shivaji Maharaj, he started targeting Chhatrapati Sambhaji, who in fact was captured by Aurangzeb and tortured and killed, and as many people perceive, for religious purposes, in a place which is called as Tulapur in Maharashtra. And after killing Sambhaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb, he died in Ahmednagar, that is present in Gujarat. But after his death, he instructed his followers in order to bury him in a place which is called as Kundabad, where there is a Sufi dargah of a Sufi saint by the name of 𝐃𝐨𝐰𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝, who was not a contemporary of Aurangzeb. He was one of the contemporaries of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and his preachings were very influential in Deccan Islam, and he was a Chishti Sufi saint, and nearby to his dargah, Aurangzeb instructed his followers to bury him. And in fact, the burial of Aurangzeb is very simple, and it is not having any pomp or any exuberance, which is the typical character of all Mughal emperors who came before him. If you look at Babur's tomb in Kabul, Humayun's tomb in Delhi, Akbar's tomb in Sikandara, Shah Jahan's tomb, Jahangir's tomb, which is present in Lahore, Shah Jahan's tomb, which is present in Taj Mahal, all these tombs are characterized by pomp and show. But Aurangzeb is buried in an unceremonial burial ground, and that too, it is not an exclusive burial for him. It is present in the burial ground of, or the dargah of, this Jainuddin Shirazi, who was a Chishti Sufi saint. And if you observe this, Aurangzeb's final days, he in fact was excessively influenced by the simplistic life which has been prescribed by Islam, and he started stitching caps, and whatever money he earned by stitching caps, he asked his followers to use the same money in order to make his burial. And his burial was also not having any top slab of its own. It is left with the open mud in which some trees are grown. In fact, if you can see this image, this is the image of his tomb, and you can see that it has not been covered by a marble covering. It has mud creek open at the center where some trees are growing. And in fact, this is one of the most unceremonial burial of the grand Mughal emperor, that is Aurangzeb. And this burial, which has been made in 1707, has become controversial today, primarily because, recent days, we might have seen the movie Chhaava, which showed the final events which led to the death of Sambhaji Maharaj, and which portrayed Aurangzeb as a villainous personality. Definitely, there is some element of villainy to Aurangzeb's personality, which has been accepted across historical spectrum. But removal of his burial from Kundabad, is it going to be a solution for the problem? In fact, in the year 2022, the name of the city of Aurangabad has been changed to Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. So this was definitely historical revisionism which was required. But today, the targeting of Aurangzeb's mask, Aurangzeb's tomb, and the demand to remove it from Maharashtra has become too excessive, and it has definitely crossed a line. Why I am saying this is because Aurangzeb's tomb is a protected monument under the Archaeological Survey of India. The Archaeological Survey of India, under the Ancient Monuments Preservation Act of 1904, Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958, has identified nearly 3,679 monuments across the country, which are declared as protected monuments of national importance. And Aurangzeb's tomb is one such monument. And when it is protected by the statute, when it is protected by a central agency, the demand for removal of the tomb is a little excessive. In fact, even the stone screens which are present around Aurangzeb's tomb, they have not been constructed by Aurangzeb. In fact, they have been added by the Nizam of Hyderabad at the insistence of Lord Curzon. These stone screens have been added, and Aurangzeb's burial is an unmarked grave. Okay, so removing this grave from Kuldabad is not the solution for the problem at hand. It will unnecessarily provoke controversies, communal violence, and rather than removing the grave, okay, let us try to emphasize on the wrong things done by Aurangzeb. So the best way to resolve the problems of history is by acknowledging them, but not by scrubbing away the past. So we should acknowledge, we should accept the problems which have been created by Aurangzeb, but we should not use it in order to divide the society of today and create communal violence, and it should be avoided. And an unceremonial grave of an old man who is being buried 300 years ago should not lead to the loss of even a single life. That is one thing that we need to keep in mind. Thank you.
కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.